start us off and walk us through that road trip you had with Braden Smith back down? What was the decision-making process and just how did it go?
Yeah, just with what was going on with him physically, him not being able to go and play and just trying to find a way to get him home. Like that's, to me, I treat all our guys, whether they like it or not sometimes, like my own son, and that was my own son, that's what I would have done. And the main thing was just to get him home.
Why you though? It could have been anybody on the staff.
Like I said, to me, that's one of my kids, and I'm gonna get him home and make sure it's done myself. We gotta drive through mountains and all that stuff, so I'm not gonna leave that on anybody else but me.
How is he?
He's better, so he's as good as you can be from what happened, dealing with facial fracture, concussion, laceration. He does have a treatment plan, no timetable for return yet, but we're progressing.
You think it's possible he can return?
We haven't even discussed that part yet. I'm just more worried about him being a healthy version of Braden Smith, and we'll see what the next steps are.
Just reflect on the weekend, because that happens early on Friday night after the first inning, then to come back and shut the guys out and then, win the entire series. You really outplayed them almost every inning the entire weekend. Reflect on what your guys were able to accomplish.
Yeah, I mean, nobody has that on their bingo card to start off the Friday night game, especially to a kid like that. The mood in the dugout, the vibe in the dugout obviously was not great. Just basically for the concern for a guy that they all have a lot of respect for and a lot of love for, Braden Smith. And honestly, like the guy that went in the game, Max Murray, a freshman, was visibly upset. In the bullpen, one of our senior guys down there, Kevin Shonda, kind of got him focused and ready to go do that, and to see that kid deliver I told our guys after the weekend, if you've never been in one and felt what a real super regional on the road feels like, that's what it felt like in Morgantown with the crowd and everything. But to handle all of that and play honestly one of our best games in all three phases on Friday night, great. Saturday, didn't finish the job, but the resiliency and the toughness that we've talked about before with this team showed up on Sunday. And Andrew Williamson starting off with a home run, and Cam Wicker been doing what he's been doing for the last month. And to close that thing out defensively was great to see.
Coach, I talked to Deonis Ross and Andrew Williamson at Media Day just about their leadership as returning players, and they seemed adamant to not let last year's results happen again. What has their leadership meant to you, especially at this point in the season and with how well you guys are doing?
I think when two of your better players are two of your better leaders, two of your better workers, two of your better people, that makes that a little easier on them, right? Just because of who they are and what they're going to do. I think I said it earlier in the year, I don't know in this era of college athletics when it's 30 new guys, I don't know how much carries over year to year, good or bad. It's about what this team does and writes their own story. But to have those two guys leading not only on the field, but in the locker room and off the field and everything that we do, couldn't be more proud of those two.
Coach, those are obvious factors in what is the difference maker in this season with their leadership. But what do you feel like, you already have one more conference win compared to last season. What really is the difference maker as a whole?
We're playing better baseball. You can break that thing down offensively, defensively, the pitching for the most part at the end of games. There's games that you are winning that you have to win in this league. And for the most part, outside of Saturday, we've done that. We've been able to handle going on the road to this point. We've been able to handle the ups and downs of what Big 12 plays. And every single game's a dogfight. You can go through the league, look at the scores, no game's over until the 27th out, and you better be able to handle all that. And this team to this point has shown the toughness and maturity to be able to handle that.
How would you describe the belief this team has in itself?
I think it's as high as it's been since I've been here, as far as being able to go out there and execute what they're trying to do, what they worked on, take it onto the field. Like, that's one thing to learn it, right, and be able to do it. It's another to go put it on display in the biggest stages. And to this point, this team has done that.
Coach, you've been with this team.
Braden out, what happens now to the rotation? Where do you go from here?
Yeah, I think we have Salzer back. We're not 100% certain on that as of right now, but I think Salzer's back, so we'll move Gray up to Friday. Salzer will slide in Saturday because of Wicker's pitch count on Sunday. Over 100 pitches, we'll just leave him on Sunday.
Coach, you've been with this team through ups and downs. Now, what's the challenge of maintaining the success throughout the season?
This is a one-week battle. Like every week's completely different. You got to play this 1 week at a time and attack each weekend for what it is. Compete at the highest level, play UCF baseball, and figure out what that is, and then move on to the next week. You could talk about the attention or rankings that we're getting. I told our guys, those people that think we're good now are the same ones that told us we weren't very good 6 weeks ago. So really shouldn't be a concern.
You
Coach
guys
Rick-
have thrived on the road. You just called it like a super regional atmosphere at work. What is it about this team that has allowed them to do that? Because it's always very difficult, as you know, to win road games.
It is, but I think if you pitch and play defense, that stuff always travels. And I think there's, again, the maturity of it. Some guys have been through environments like that. That's kind of showed up in that maturity experience of them. And then you gotta want to do it too, right? Like a lot of guys tell us, yeah, coach, I want to do that. Do they really want to? I think this group, to a man, wants to go in those environments and compete, and that's a big factor.
Cam Wicker showed that, what you just said. Talk about his performance.
Yes, I mean, we're basically watching that guy grow up on the mountain, from where he was a year ago to even where he was flirting with it a little bit at the beginning of the year to doing it. Him and Coach Thomas have worked really, really hard on not just the stuff on the field that you see, but how he prepares day to day, his routines. They've attacked that at every level, and I'm really glad to see him getting the success that he's working really, really hard to.
Andrew Williams says one of the best players in baseball, as you know, but I'm sure he was really down on himself on Saturday night,
Yeah.
for that last inning. But to come back and respond the way that he did on Sunday, just what did you see out of Andrew in that?
Yeah, he was great Friday too, right? We don't win that game Friday if he doesn't do some Superman-like stuff. And then Saturday, a play that he'd tell you he should have made. And to handle that on Saturday night, leave it on Saturday night and come back, and you, at breakfast, at BP, at all the pregame stuff, you would have never thought anything was wrong, and then it's a ball to the moon, first at-bat. Had some other really good productive at-bats after that. That's what a leader does. Don't talk about it. If you don't like the way something went, go do something about it, and he did that.
Coach,
So-
earlier in the season, you had the heartbreaker in Miami. You lose a series to South Florida. Now you're leading the Big 12. What's the difference between the team versus like back around that time versus the team we're looking at right now?
I mean, we're still, the lineup's a little different, the way the bullpen's constructed is a little different, but they learn from those stuff. We talk about learning the lesson, leaving the event, and I thought they did that. I thought they did that at USF. When we played them here, I challenged them between the doubleheader to come out and play with a different focus and intensity, and I thought they did that. We just didn't finish the game. I thought that carried over into Sunday, and ever since then, they pretty much, outside of one or two games here and there, have done that consistently.
Your pitching depth has taken a little bit of a hit. I'm just curious, Grant Siegel, he led the team in innings pitched last year. He hasn't pitched this season.
Yeah,
What's his status?
He's not with us right now. So.
What does it say about the pitching as a whole, though, that you're able to go from what happens in the first inning on Friday to essentially have a bullpen game on Friday and have a complete game shutout versus a team that like leads a lot of the conference in runs and batting average and just offensive stats in general?
Yeah, I think that when that happens right there, you're trying to ask people to do some stuff that they probably haven't been prepared for. Like, I've never asked Max Murray to come into a game, hey man, it's the second inning, you got to get us to the fifth for us to have a chance, and he delivered and did that. The bad part about that was you lose him for the whole week. Max have got, if we could use him twice on the weekend, on Friday and Sunday, we would love to, but because we extended him, you don't, and you got to have some guys do some things that are probably outside the norm. For Sauce to throw 30-something pitches on Friday and come back, and I didn't have him on the board, him or Kevin Shonaboo on my list of guys to throw on Sunday, and they both came to me and said, Coach, I got 3 outs. And for 2 of your seniors to come up and understand the situation, where we're at with the bullpen, what we needed to get done, to see those guys on Sunday do that, speaks a lot, not just to the depth of it, but to the courage and the want to and the will of some senior guys on this team.
It's similar stakes in Lawrence this weekend, first place on the line essentially again. What do you know about Kansas? What stands out about the Jayhawks?
And they're obviously really offensive. Just started diving into the arms, haven't got much into that, but really offensive. They're running a little bit more this year than they did before. But I played tons of games in that ballpark. You never know what you're going to get with the wind and the weather. It could be blowing out in the first 4 innings. It could be blowing straight in the last 4 innings. You just don't know. So you got to play UCF baseball. You got to pitch, defend at a high level, and whatever the game requires offensively, you got to figure out a way to do that.
Coach, now that ranking is beside your team's number, you guys are the hunted. I mean, how does that change your mindset?
I mean, that was never a goal of ours. We sat in that room in August, never talked about being ranked in April. Like that's not a goal. It's nice, but it's not a goal. It's not something we were ever focused on or going to be focused on. And to me, being the hunted, like, that means somebody else wants it more than you. I got a hard time thinking anybody wants it more than our guys.
When when you took over the program, you knew you were gonna build something, you had to be confident success was coming, so now that it's here, how have you dealt with that and tried to push these guys forward?
I mean, I think we got a long way to go, right? So the teams that can make a run at the end, and I've been around some teams that have made some really good runs at the end, you gotta play well enough that you progress through the season, that you gotta find a way, even through injuries, to get better, to play your best brand at the end of the year. That's what I wanna see our guys do. That's really our main focus. And you gotta put yourself in position that you have a chance in June. That's our focus, and we'll worry about the rest later.
What gives you the confidence that these guys can do that?
This team loves to practice, right? They love each other, they love getting after it. If you come watch our practices, they've been the same intensity level, energy, through the whole year. So if you got a chance to get better, like, that's where it has to happen. And this time of year, you don't really get to, you may get one practice, maybe one practice on the road when you're traveling. It's can you do it every day, even on game day? Those 50 minutes that you get pregame, that's really all you have. And can you attack that? And this group has shown that they actually enjoy doing that, and hopefully that continues.
We've had 3 midweek games.
Just time for one or two more.
Canceled or postponed. I know it's getting towards the latter part of the season. Any chance you make those up, or just kind of let them go?
We're kind of looking at one maybe, if we can get it in there in the right situation. But I also gotta be fair with our guys, because one of them, we got a Wednesday game already scheduled, and we're coming back from Utah, so it's gonna be hard to get in that one. The end of the year is the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so I don't know if we can fit one in there. Talking with JU and seeing if we can fit one in somewhere else, but we'll see where that goes.
Coach, you talked about adjusting the lineups through the season. Considering how back in the media day talking about the depth of this squad, what's it been like trying to figure out what works best? And do you feel like you've gotten there, or do you think there could be more tweaking there?
I mean, they're 18 to 22-year-olds, and this thing's week to week for them too. So you got to make constant adjustments. Like, to tell you, I went into Sunday thinking we were going to pinch hit James Hinkerson in the 6th inning in a big spot for Javi Crespo. I didn't, but I felt like it was at that time, and we have some guys on the bench when somebody's not having the best day to make an impact in the game. So there's a bunch of guys there that are right there that could factor in this as we go. I like where we're at. 2 years ago, if we would have had Braden Calise and Austin Jacobs and the other guys go down, I don't know if we would have been able to field a team in the middle of the year. But the depth has showed up.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.